Hello. This is your host, C. Jackson Paul, live from the Eternal Gems studio. Welcome to 18 Entrepreneurs Crash Course at Life, where we learn the tools that will let you build the life that you deserve. The second video in this series, which is my favorite incidentally, focused on time management. But recently, a very wise person walked me through an idea about time management that was too important for me to not pass on. I touched on the idea in the recent 168 video. This exercise I am about to teach you will help you better understand your time usage, which, in turn, will make your time budget, or calendar, easier to make. There are 168 hours every week. That sounds like a lot, and, if you are wise with your time, it is. But you have to be intentional with it, or it will just float away. And, of course, large portions of the 168 are already accounted for. Let's look at all the competing claims on your time. Take out a piece of paper, and write down 168 at the top. Then, as we go through the various sections, subtract the time you spend doing that activity. If there are any activities of yours that I miss, then just add them in at the end. In order to stay healthy, you need close to 8 hours of sleep. And 8 times 7 is 56, so that is 56 hours a week. You can subtract 168 minus 56 is 112, so those are your waking hours. You also need to eat. This number will be different things for different people, so your number may be different from mine. If you don't know how long you spend eating, then record the time when you start on your meal, that is, when you either leave to get food or start cooking, and the time you end your meal, that is, the time you get back from getting food or finish the dishes. Time every meal like that for a week, as best you can, and figure out how much time you spend per week eating. I found I spent about an hour and a half a day eating, but for the purposes of this exercise we will say 2 hours. 2 times 7 is 14, so that's 14 hours a week. This brings us down to 98 hours. Or a bit over 4 days. Next, we will take out time for school or work. Different people will have different numbers for this section. I, the person writing this, am a full-time college student besides my work for Eternal Gems. Now, classes plus a job don't come out to many hours by themselves, but this is also the place to account for studying. As a general rule, you should spend 3 hours studying for every hour of class time in college, so you would spend 9 hours a week on a 3-hour class. This means that, if you take 15 hours of classes, you should spend 45 hours studying, for a total of 60 hours. Add in 20 more hours for a job, and that's 80 hours subtracted for work. The work section includes anything that you must do, either to earn a living or as part of your education. Again, everyone will have different numbers, but let's assume that you work a standard 40-hour work week. Let's further assume you have a half-hour commute each way to work, which brings us up to 45 hours spent on work-related things. That leaves 53 hours left. There are also several other things we should subtract. Depending on how regularly you shop, you will need to budget a few hours for that. Similarly, you should budget a few hours for transportation, and several more for things like cleaning and laundry. Let's just say you spend 10 hours a week on miscellaneous cares. This takes us to 43 hours, or a bit under 2 days worth of time, to spend however you want. But, of course, you aren't satisfied with your current life, because you have dreams that you want to accomplish. All the truly great people got that way by working day in and day out at the things that they loved. So, if you want to be the next Mozart or Michael Jordan, then that is where the other 43 hours ought to go. Oh, you will lose focus and get distracted occasionally, so let's call that a solid 40 hours spent working on your dreams. If you can do that, while doing a full-time job, then I take my hat off to you, and you will be on the fast track to the life that you dream of. But suppose your dreams are a bit more modest. You just want to become a writer, an artist, or a small business owner. If so, then I have good news for you. There is something that you can do to move towards your dreams today. I don't know what it is, since I don't know your dreams, but there has to be something that you can do, today, that would push you in that direction. Even if you set aside only an hour a day to pursue your dreams, that's more than most people can do. John Grisham, for instance, made himself write for an hour a day, and became a famous writer based on what he produced in that time. That puts you at 7 hours a week, which still leaves 36 hours of guilt-free goof-off time. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it comes out to over 5 hours a day. That's 5 hours a day you can spend doing whatever you want. You can hang out with friends with it, or spend it all listening to YouTube. Either way, it's yours to do with what you want, since, after all, you've already done everything else you need to do. But if you relax for more than 36 hours, beware, because it is coming out of something important. Here is a thought experiment that will help you visualize how you should plan out your day. Imagine two jars. One filled with sand, the other with ping pong balls. If you pour the ping pong jar on the sand jar, then the ping pong balls will spill out, because the sand is packed at the bottom. But if you pour the sand jar into the ping pong ball jar, then everything fits. Thus, schedule your most important things, work or studying, and working on your dreams, first, then living things like eating and sleeping, and finally things like watching TV or hanging out with friends. If you do this, then you will have the time for everything your heart desires. Using the information you learned about today, make a calendar for the next week, and see how it works. Leave your own 168 breakdown down in the comments, and share any other tips about time management you have. If you can control your time, then you can control your destiny, and achieve your dreams. Everyone has dreams in life, and we at Eternal Gems want to help you live up to your full potential. Check out our website and social media, linked below in the description. Leave your thoughts, or ideas for new videos, down in the comments, and stay tuned for more videos.